I'm Casey Calvert.
I'm Leanna Lovings.
I'm Corey Chase.
I'm Bree Mills, and you're listening to the Adult Time Podcast.
If you look at yourself now and kind of maybe share a little bit about your journey from your upbringing and how that segued into becoming a sex worker and your journey into the industry.
I think it just being so sexually repressed for so long. It was just I grew up with 4 siblings. I have 4 siblings, but I lived with 3 of them. Mm-hmm. So I feel, and I'm the oldest, so it was definitely a different life. My household was very chaotic. And it was a whole mess, but I just think not being able to talk about sex and then discovering sex is okay and sexuality and everything, all that is fine. I think I just became way more open to it. Yeah. Yeah. And especially in high school, I kind of tried to, experiment a little bit, and I would get caught and my parents would punish me, and it was just kind of a back and forth type of thing where you're okay, I know I want to do this, but people are telling me it's wrong to do. So
yeah, well, and it seems like you got kind of always found yourself in these cycles where you would explore, but then there would be a getting caught element and a punishment element, and then the cycle continues. So in a way, your early experiences with sexuality were always sort of trying to keep it hidden so you don't get in trouble.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
How do you feel that becoming an adult now and obviously living your life and gaining more experience, when you look back on that cycle, how were you able to break it?
I think just moving out of my house. Yeah. Yeah. My parents were very, very strict, very uptight. And then once I moved out a couple years later down the line, my parents got divorced, and my household is so much more calm than it used to be. Yeah. And I'm what is this? Hello, what about me?
So how did you get into working for studios and working in the porn business?
I started OnlyFans early 2021. And it was through this guy that I had known. I had met him a couple years prior, but he started dating an OnlyFans girl. She did a whole bunch of platforms. And she was like, hey, come shoot for us, whatever, we'll pay you. There's a lot of money. So I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And so I went and did that, and it was a week-long ordeal. And after that, at the end of the week, they're like, we really love working with you. We would love to kind of help you out with your OnlyFans or whatever. So I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. I had a lot of fun doing this. Why not? And so I did. And then, later on down the line, they broke up. But later on down the line, he kind of nudged me toward, doing the adult industry because I enjoyed what I did. So I kind of, took a lot of time to think about it because I was very unsure of whether or not I wanted to do that. Yeah. And so eventually, when I decided to take the leap, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we went to AVN last year. That way I could meet all the agents. Yep. Everybody's in one place, so it makes it super simple. Yeah,
so in a way, the AVN Expo, for those that don't know, is the annual kind of, it's almost like a homecoming. Yeah. A homecoming event for all of us in the industry because you kind of get everybody in one place. So what was that like? Because that was, I guess, really your kind of introduction to the porn world was that expo.
It was awesome. It was very it was very crazy to see everybody so open about, what they do and, doing all these crazy things. I saw one girl step on a bunch of guys in a line and I was
you're where am I? Yeah, this is not Kansas anymore.
No, I was this is awesome. I love it. Everybody was dressed so cute and just expressing themselves the way that they want to. And it was really, really cool.
So when you went to do that first content shoot, was that the first time that you had really gone and done anything sexual that had that sort of exhibitionist element to it? Or was that something that you had explored kind of privately beforehand?
Definitely kind of my first time. I had my OnlyFans before that, but I wasn't super serious about it at all. And I was scared of posting my nipples or showing anything else. Yeah. So it was definitely different. And I enjoyed it a lot. You kind of get used to being naked in front of other people, and definitely weird.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, definitely at first, and then it gets weird when you're dressed later on.
Yeah.
How did, when you kind of think back on that first experience, what do you remember? How do you remember feeling, right? Like you said, you were very nervous going into it. It was something you'd never done, but then afterwards you really enjoyed it. So like, what about it did you enjoy?
I enjoyed working with the girl. She kind of walked me through a lot of things and introduced me to shit I've never even, heard about before. And I really liked that. And she kind of really made me feel confident because she was very confident in what she did. Yeah. She'd done it for so long. And I like the idea of being able to express yourself like that and being confident in it.
So sort of like a role model in a sense. Like,
yeah, absolutely. In those early days.
And what have you learned, what's your sort of biggest takeaways since you started shooting content with studios and obviously maintained your own platforms?
I definitely just have a lot of fun with it. I'm still kind of learning how to be myself and being feminine because I was just very masculine in high school. I was just, sweatpants or whatever. And being feminine is just very different to me. So
this is a good question. What does femininity mean to you now? Like, how do you like to express it?
I'm trying to get my fashion sense together. It's very all over the place. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Trying to learn how to do my makeup. And it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. But, trying to do girly things instead of, wearing very simple, neutral colors and styles and just things like that, I think, to me.
And is it something that, like, when you kind of look back on your kind of, I don't know, quote unquote tomboy years to now, what aspects of that, basketball playing tomboy are still with you now?
I don't really play too much anymore, but whenever I'm at home, I'm always in my sweatpants and some big ass shirt. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's more like the way that I feel. Yeah.
Do you have a memorable, when you sort of think back on the scenes that you've done or the experiences that you've had, sort of since entering sex work, do you have a particularly memorable moment that stands out? It could be hilarious and embarrassing. It could be like just really beautiful and meaningful.
I think my most memorable ones thus far has been my first anal scene. I had a great time shooting it, and I squirted for the first time. I've never done that in my private life or on camera, and it was really it was cool.
Yeah. So like, as it happened, what were you thinking? You were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening to my body, or was like, yes, I squirted.
Yeah, because literally, like, the director, he could ask me like beforehand, like, do you squirt? And I was like, no, I would love to, like. And then the guy that I was shooting with, like, did it for me. And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, I can't wait to say something after the scene ends.
Very nice.